Hey, what's going on, everybody? Just thinking about something. I was at a meeting and we was talking about bringing businesses to Homewood, entrepreneurship, talking about the black community and the state that we're in, and how can we fix this problem? What can we do? And I'm hearing people throw out, ideas and what needs to be done. And then it came to a question they asked, what would it take for you, not necessarily me, but the group that was there, to bring your business to Homewood. So the one queen said, I have an architectural and real estate consulting firm, real estate development consulting firm. I'm thinking in my head, hey, that's dope. So usually people say I got a clothing line or something that's necessarily not an essential service or product, but that's their business, to each his own. So I'm thinking about that, like architecture, real estate. We need somebody that's going to be able to, prepare them comps and do market research and give you the best architecture and the best design. So you probably got connections to engineers to, that needs to happen. But then I thought about it, like, we having this conversation about bringing businesses to Homewood to build a black community, but at the same time, we don't have the essentials that a community has. And I was driving from Meals on Wheels. I was working there. I enjoyed it. It was a great time to give back. That's what I do. That's what I'm about, giving back. So I'm working for Meals on Wheels, and I'm driving in. I'm in Squirrel Hill, Oakland, Hazelwood, Point Breeze, which is really South Homewood, but conversation for another time. So I go to Squirrel Hill, and I go into I'm in the inner parts of Squirrel Hill because I'm dropping off these meals. So as I drive through, it's just me. So I got all the time to reflect and, think. And I'm just like, hey, this stuff right here is dope. Like, you look at these houses, you pull up on some of these streets, these houses, the poor people in that place their house is probably worth $750,000 easy. Like, that's where the poor people stay. You know what I'm saying? You pull up, this house, it's a $1.2 million block, easy. Probably 1.5 on average on the house value. And then you pull over to the next block, they got a business district. But their business district, it consists of some key things, and the geographics caters to the demographics. So meaning, example, you go to Homewood, you got a couple black restaurants, Nini's, the one, the Everyday Cafe, the one right down from it, y'all know what I'm talking about, Seventh Heaven, 7 Cents, different things like that. So you got a couple black restaurants and eateries, per se, in Homewood. You need that. Homewood's predominantly black. But, but a lot of these people don't own the building. That's a big key. Or another black person don't own the building. It's one thing if you rent in or lease in, that's all fine. Like, everybody don't got a bag to drop for a building. I understand. That's not the point I'm making. But when you start going to these other communities like Squirrel Hill, is Jewish and Asian. All different types of Jewish people too. Israeli Jewish, Russian Jewish. And if you spend some time and started studying them, not that you want to be Jewish or you want to sell out your own, just understand how communities are built, you'll see that every heavy residential area has a school, some type of private medical practice clinic, and an eatery within 4, maybe 5 blocks. square blocks, put it like that. So if you go pretty much a few blocks in any direction in Squirrel Hill is pretty damn big. Like, that's not a conversation that we ever had, but Squirrel Hill is a big ass neighborhood. If you go 4 or 5 blocks of the heavy residential area in Squirrel Hill, you'll find many business districts or a business strip. It might not be how Murray is or how Forbes is. You know, that's the main district for the whole community. But if you go to some of these side streets, there'll be a chiropractor, a dentist, a law office. And then there'll be different types of law offices, you know, within a square vicinity of one law office. So it might be the workman comp, specialty claims, business law office, personal injury, different things. You know, they got different practices, but if you see one, you know another one's not far from each other. And then you know if you see 2 businesses, especially if they're essential businesses, an eatery, a bank, a medical practice, a school, within 6 blocks, you're going to have a heavy residential area. Meaning you're going to turn to this street, and these few streets are going to have houses and apartment buildings. And not far from that, there's going to be a school. You know, so I'm driving in there, I'm looking, I'm like, you know, this is like repetitious, like it's cloned, it's duplicated. And you go throughout this area, symmetrical. Eatery, bank, school, private practice, private medical practice, private specialty service practice, meaning your law offices, constructions, and different things like that. You go to another place, you know, they'll have a couple specialty things like shoe repair, leather, soaps, and it's like, you know, everywhere, even toys. Like, this is what a community looks like. You have essentially 1 or 2 places of worship, period. If you go to a Jewish place, or if it's Buddhist, Muslim, you know, pretty much a non-Christian religion area, you're going to have 1, maybe 2, depending on the size and the demographics of worship. Like, you're not going to be like, the Hill got like 9 churches. Like, there's literally 4 churches on Center Avenue within a 2-block radius. Easy. You got one on Francis, you know, Reverend Grayson's church. Like 500 feet, there's another church. 1,000 feet, there's another church. It's like, man, y'all got church after church. But you go to another place, now look, we all Jewish, we all Muslim, we all Buddhist, we all whatever. We gonna come here. And this is where we worship. Period. We ain't having 1,600 churches. This is where we go. Now, we might have 12 schools, and that says a lot, because every school, I'm pretty sure, serves a different purpose, and it also serves a purpose for, if you're a Russian Jew or Orthodox Jew, your group is socialized not only to be loyal to your people, but it's also to be loyal to your individual cultural customs, and they educate you on that. That's vital. So going back to the Homewood thing, we start discussing these businesses and what it would take to bring it, and, you know, different things like that. And mind you, we're speaking theoretically. So with that being said, people are describing their businesses and what they do, their services, and if they would come, they would need this. And that's all great, but essentially, when you look at Homewood, like, you're going to have these meetings. So on that, you got to have your essentials. You got to have a bank, the school, the grocery store, the medical practice, whether it's a hospital, a clinic. You know, I'm not saying you got to have a children's hospital or a Mercy. You know, those are large, different type scales, whole different setup when it comes to getting them built, the tax incentives, the tax breaks, and the city, government, state funding money along with private donation. That's a different level. We can start with, hey, you know what, I got $1,000. Let's get 20 people with $1,000, or let's get the equivalence of 20 people. Let's raise $20,000, and we're going to buy a space, ask the community to renovate it and donate the time, or see if a construction company like me, Kahari Construction, will come in and give us a fair price and work with us to get this space renovated. We're going to put a butcher shop here, and the people of Homewood can come here and get fresh meat. We're going to work with black farmers. If there's not a lot of black farmers, we're just going to work with farmers, period. Because not all the time you can always purchase things black. I mean, it's not buying black sometimes isn't selling out or, you know, not supporting black businesses. But if you need a surgery and you got cancer, or like, yo, look, I got an opportunity to supply all the baseballs for PNC. You know, who do you know that can supply 1,000 baseballs for PNC? Who's black that you know manufacture baseballs? There's not a lot of black surgeons that have a private practice. You might not get that black surgeon when you go to a hospital. You can't just, you know, miss these opportunities. You can't just, I'm not going to get the surgery. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to go outside the community to bring the resources there. That's not a problem. That's not a problem. Do that. The community needs it. Period, point blank. But since we don't have that in Homewood, bringing other businesses around it is only going to hurt Homewood even more, because now we got black businesses, and say Homewood black businesses are doing like $2 million a year gross. And they're spending their money, you know, majority of this property is probably going to be leased. Is it going to be owned by other black people, and these black people are spending in Homewood or other black areas? Probably not. And even if they are they spending with black-owned places that are essential? I can go to Giant Eagle, Whole Foods, Aldi's, dip in Wilkinsburg, Shop and Save, but that's not black-owned. Homewood's a food desert. Like, you can't get fresh food. If I wanted to go buy some chicken breasts, some apples, I have to go to Giant Eagle. That's my closest place. Or I have to go to Wilkinsburg. I have to go to East Liberty. And the one guy said, you know, there's a grocery store within 5 miles. It don't make sense to put one in Homewood. What do you mean? Homewood's huge. And it's near beltways. Like 376 ain't far from Homewood. Fifth Avenue isn't far from Homewood. It's within walking distance. And Fifth Avenue runs through pretty much the whole city. Penn Avenue runs through pretty much the whole city. 28 pretty much runs through the whole city. It runs through. It's a major interstate. Apologies, but 28's a major interstate. 376, a major interstate. Well, these are two places that get a lot of traffic. And it's only 2-3 turns to get to Homewood. So, Giant Eagle, that's not walking distance. And you can't just go grab a pack of meat for dinner, make tacos, or to cook some chicken. You have to hop on a bus, hop in your car, go there, come back, and then prepare your food. If I live in East Liberty, which is gentrified now, it's not being, it's done. I have, and even before, you got the Trader Joe's and the Giant Eagle on the same block. When they was thinking about that, they wasn't saying, oh, it don't make sense to put one here. No, put that there. They got PNC Bank and Citizens Bank and Dollar Bank right next to each other, same block. PNC is about 3 blocks, 4 blocks from Citizens. Dollar Bank and Citizens Bank is across the street on the same block. Literally, you could throw a rock at the other one, standing in the doorway. That conversation's not being held. Oh, it don't make sense to put our bank here, this bank's there. No. Put it right there. The Trader Joe's, the Giant Eagle, the Whole Foods, the Aldi's. That's all within walking distance. I could walk from Trader Joe's to Giant Eagle, and I could walk from Giant Eagle to Whole Foods, from Whole Foods to Aldi's, and then from Aldi's to the Market District. So that's about 5 in a square mile. That's about 5 different places. Grocery stores, big grocery stores, supermarkets, where I could buy everything I need. Fresh fruit, fresh meat, canned food, dry foods, whatever, dairy, milk, whatever I need to consume, I can buy and I can walk to it. Period. All within the East Liberty Shady Side area. That's easy. So Homewood should be the same, especially if you're talking about building a black community. The black community suffer from easily preventable dietary diseases. One, we don't know how to cook to live right, healthy. We know how to cook, don't get me wrong. But when you start speaking of eat to live, eat to, you know what I'm saying, be healthy, that's not common knowledge. Like, we'll fry anything. We'll pour a whole pound of sugar in the Kool-Aid. Some people talk about, like, I don't like water, water's nasty, I only drink pop and juice. What are you, crazy? Come on, man. But this is something that's common in our community. So we need supermarkets there. We need nutritionists there. We need the nutritionists to be out of school that we own. Because Pittsburgh Republicans essentially say, we don't want that here. There's nothing you can do. That's state-owned. That's city-owned. Like, the state controls the school boards. So they can essentially just have their own curriculum like they have, and they can say who can come in and speak and be a part of this, which they can and will and has done before. So if we're going to have these community building conversations, let's be diligent and aware that before we get to a point where we have too many supermarkets in one area, will be a long time. It'll be a long, long time. Like, that's pretty much not possible, because give it 10 years. All these white people buying stuff in Homewood. See how many grocery stores and supermarkets pop up in Homewood. It's going to be crazy. 2, 3 Giant Eagles or something. Or this crazy stuff. So, like, keep that in mind. You got to have the essential supermarket, bank, school, independent bank, independent supermarket, independent hospital or medical practice. That's essential. That's a community. Then you start bringing other stuff in.